All right, hello, everybody. Let me know if this thing's working out there. I'm Andrew Jackson. I'm joined tonight by the one, the only Ryan Lee, One Don Pro from the American Go Association. Ryan, thank you so much for being here. This is pretty exciting, right? This is
Yeah, I'm very excited
yeah.
today to come to be here, even though it's very late night, the day after the election.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us here. By the way, I know you are on the East Coast, which means that it is 12:30 in the morning, and the way this game is going could be a late night for you. So we really appreciate your being with us. And as you mentioned, it is the day after the election, so I'm going to take a second, direct folks out there. No politics, please. Not in the chat. We're just going to talk about anything else. You want to talk about building walls? Talk about it on the Go board, and that's it. So, oh, and in case you're curious, the person joining us is not in fact Koje. Koje is the player tonight, not the person providing the commentary.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Well, some people might get confused. All right, so what are we dealing with here? We are playing in the Xin'ao Cup, right? Am I saying that more or less correctly? I understand if I get it wrong, I have actually said brainwashing. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, and this.
that's exactly what you're saying, but it's not what the tournament is called.
Oh, what's
The
the tournament
tournament
called?
Xin'ao.
Xin'ao. No,
Yeah, better.
closer. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and this is actually a new tournament. They just started it this year, and it's the first Xin'ao Cup.
And it seems like they've got a pretty big prize purse, correct?
Yeah, and they have a very interesting way of doing it. They have a pre. They have the pre. Sorry, can't think of the word. The
Preliminaries?
preliminaries,
Yeah.
yes, and but after the preliminaries, they have a round of 64. So they
Mhm.
actually get 64 players from the preliminaries, and usually you get. It's common for tournaments to get 32.
Mhm.
So they're really
So this is a
trying to
big field of
increase the
64.
yeah, they're trying to increase the field here
And
for
is that single
professionals.
elimination?
Yes, from 64, it's all single elimination.
Okay. Cool. So tonight we've got Koje, he's holding the black stones, and Ida Atsushi 8 Pro from Japan on the white stones. Do you have any expectations going into the game so far?
I expect a very calm game because from what I know of the players,
Uh huh.
they like to play um, less aggressive, and they like to hold the game till the later game.
Okay. They like to keep
So
things balanced.
yeah,
All right. All right. And of course, Koje here doesn't have his white stones. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he doesn't
That's
get
that's gonna
his
be
extra coming.
interesting. Yeah, and it's Chinese rules, so it is 70. It is 7.5 Komi.
Right. 2.5 hours of game time. The players have already broken for lunch, so we are pretty far through here. If you guys want to have a look at the game itself there is in the upper left-hand corner. You can take that. We're going to follow along. We're going to go on through. You got control. Take us, show us some things here, Ryan. What sort of stuff do you want to talk about? I mean, so you have a lot of freedom here as far as what sorts of things in this game you want to talk about. What sort of Go players you want to be talking to. I mean, the nice ones, obviously, but other than that, what are your goals for how you want to do this?
Well, I don't have like a set plan, but we can sort of start talking about the opening, and
Okay.
we'll sort of take it slow, because I think it will be quite a long game. So
Okay. You think
if we
we'll
go
be in for
too
a
fast, then we'll all be already caught up with
sure
their
thing?
the play. Okay,
All right.
so well, from what I know, or from Kudje's past, I don't know, 20 or so games, he always plays this opening. He never changes.
He just seems
Always
to
this
like it.
opening, the 3-4 enclosure, and people are starting to get sick of seeing this opening for
Play
black.
anything else.
And I think most of us will remember uh, the I think game 5 of the Lisedo game with AlphaGo. And so it ended up like this, and so this was a very common opening.
Yeah, it seems like they've been
And
exploring this pattern a lot lately.
yeah, and lately it's just been played way too many times.
We need those
And
new AlphaGo games, right? Whatever they announced, there'll be some new games in 2017. we need some new games so we can get some new patterns, right?
Yeah. And I guess the reason why it's been played so much is most people think it's pretty even for black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And so black gets 2 corners in Sente, and white gets not as much territory, but quite a bit of influence.
Okay.
And yeah.
So this is more standard than white maybe, than black maybe invading here and giving white that Atari?
Yeah, that I'm not too sure. Like people, like both variations are played. So sometimes will turn here first, and sometimes white will exchange this.
Mm.
And they call this the AlphaGo
That's
peep.
the
Right?
AlphaGo peep. That's right. That's the AlphaGo exchange.
So if white exchanges first, then black doesn't really have the choice of invading here.
He has to invade
Because
differently.
if black invades here, this Atari, even though it doesn't seem that big and it's just capturing 1 stone, right? It's actually very big because it's very thick. So when white Ataris, the next move at 017 becomes very big, and black's corner gets completely
enclosed
and puts down to the second line.
Got it.
So this Atari is very big. And after this, so sorry, what I was saying was after this exchange, white can, when white hanes, black can't cut anymore.
Right. This protects
because
that cut.
This exchange just protects that cut. So yeah, black is way too aggressive now to invade. So you do see this sometimes, and so this is like white's sort of safe way of doing it. And if white wants to give black the choice, then white can just turn directly. And now black has the option of invading here.
Okay.
So this is sort of a
new joseki.
Pretty common shape. Yeah. I wouldn't call it a joseki, but I guess it's a variation that we don't really know who's better still.
Okay. So it's still under active discussion. How about that?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
And also people have been playing the second line, the 2 space extension.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, and with this now, if white turns directly and it becomes like this, then this stone
is a little bit more efficient.
2 space extension is actually enclosing about 6 points more. And that would be a huge difference.
So white doesn't let this happen then? If black makes that
this
longer
would be
extension?
Yeah, exactly. So even like a small difference like this, it would really change the way they make this choice. So you would see white exchanging. Sometimes white would exchange this first and then turn. So when the lower right is thicker, then black can't really invade. At least it wouldn't be beneficial for black to invade.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, these are all of most of the variations that are here.
That are current these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened though? What did we actually go with here?
So Ida actually avoided this, and he just played the simpler joseki. So I guess he's and this was also very common in maybe 3 years ago, but
we don't see it too much.
Yeah, recently we've just been seeing the previous one that I just showed.
Do you know why that is? Was this considered not good enough for white?
I guess it's just a preference. For this variation, white has quite a bit of weakness. Even though white gets sente, this shape has a lot of weaknesses. So in the game, white can choose to spend a move here. But if we compare this variation to the previous one here,
right?
Yeah, if we compare these two, then most most people would say white is better
This is
in this
better for
variant.
white than the other one.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Because white is so bunched together, right? And black just looks more efficient.
I'd buy it. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So, but if white Tanuki locally, then we have an invasion here that white has to worry about. Black might not play it directly, but this invasion is pretty difficult to deal with. So yeah, now white can Atari and connect. So
And those cutting stones on the outside become the next fight.
yeah, so right now it's not that big because white can sacrifice the 3 stones on the bottom.
Okay.
So if white just I don't know, if we do something simple, because eventually white can double Hane and
Big
have this
endgame
end
reduction.
game. Yeah, so it looks big, but black didn't really capture as much.
Not as big
But
as it looks. Because I would be like,
yeah,
oh
no,
man, that's huge. But
yeah.
it's the difference.
So in this variation, black may not necessarily play it now, but also remember black has all other choices like this peep.
Sure. Do they usually play
and
that
other
peep
ones.
before deciding how to extend on the bottom, or is that
We used to see this peep before extending.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like you said. But now recently, people since the big Comey, I guess, white will almost always fix. So
And
this
be content with
exchange
the
would be
exchange.
bad locally.
Sure.
So I guess it's just how Go evolved recently that most people actually just prefer this variation now.
Got it. That's great.
So
too.
now, eventually, after when black peeps, white would almost definitely answer here instead of connecting. Okay.
Got it.
That was quite a bit of variations.
That's okay. I feel like that's a great contextual understanding of why we're looking at what we're looking at on the right half of the board. But now with this attachment, I mean, is this this the usual? Is this
this attachment has become the usual.
Really?
Like in the last year, actually.
Now,
so
if the right half is kind of unusual, like if we don't usually see white making that far approach, if white doesn't usually make that far approach, does black still start things in the low left corner? Is there a different situation on the right when we're seeing this now, or does this pattern on the right half of the board show up often enough that this attachment is common enough that we're discussing it these days? Does that make sense? Kind of a tough question.
Yeah.
A lot of layers.
Yeah, I think I understand your question. So
okay.
Yeah, I haven't really seen an opening like this for a long time because usually, just from games,
usually that's the
there's
start
a lot
point.
of games where it's like this. Because in the older, well, not in the old days, but back then, in the older times, there was a very common opening like this.
Sure, the micro.
Yeah, the mic.
Mini,
the smaller mini micro.
The mini, the micro machine. I don't know.
Yeah, so this was a very common opening for black because it would open up the game very fast. And I guess we wouldn't dig too deep into this opening, but so that's the reason why we see games like this so often.
So even from the second move, they're already trying to like screw with each other's plans, huh?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
So if we see, this was very, very common when it and then white gets this, and then black would approach here or here. We've seen both.
Mm-hmm.
So that was sort of the the common opening.
Right.
Yeah. So the one that they played in the game is actually pretty uncommon. I don't know if that answers your question.
Not. I mean,
So,
tell me about this attachment. Now I'm super curious what he's going for.
yeah, this attachment. So white can respond locally, uh, or white can pincer.
Hmm.
So those are the options. And when you're responding locally to this attachment, there's only really two responses that are sort of reasonable for white.
Okay.
And one of them is to extend. And that's just to not give black any agi at all.
No forcing moves. No.
Yeah.
Like what can black do from here? He hanes and then jumps away. Is that it basically?
Maybe just
Jumps away directly.
jump directly, because the hane might be bad because eventually you might want to extend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so or hane is also pretty common,
Mm-hmm.
and usually after you hane, you want a tanuki.
Got it.
But if
So-
you don't hane, this when white hanes, you will never get this exchange anymore.
Yeah, makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense
so
because
that's
it doesn't. Yeah, they'll go the other way. They'll just extend, right?
Yeah. So this is one of the responses, but usually most of the time you don't see white playing this move,
Mm-hmm.
just because it seems like black already benefited a little bit from this exchange.
Mm.
Because after black extends, and if white would tanuki locally, but if, let's say, eventually we come back to this when
White
this
wants to play
side of the board,
G3, right? White would eventually
Yeah,
want to play G3.
yeah, exactly. When this side of the board is big again, and white plays G3, then this exchange is good for black.
So let me ask it this way: if black were to play E3 now, white wouldn't respond at D4. Where would white play, and
Yeah.
what would happen instead? Is I guess the question.
So if the shape was like this,
Right.
and white would hane,
On top.
yeah, I would see this as the only response.
And black would connect underneath, is what you'd expect to happen, or
Yeah, if black connects, well, and then white has a lot of options, right? White can
double hane,
just extend and get sente,
Sure.
or connect.
Mm-hmm.
If white wants the thickness,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and white, it can also atari
Oh,
if the right side is big, right?
needs to blow up the bottom and focus
Yeah.
on the right. Okay.
So that gives white a lot of options. So after this exchange, black can run out the stone or
do other stuff. Yeah.
or do other stuff. It leaves a lot of agi locally.
He's already sort of tricked white into making an exchange that they didn't want to make.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So you said
this
there's two options. One of them is extending up,
Yeah.
and the other one would be.
And the other one is what we've seen on the top right.
Okay.
So it's the hane.
It's similar to the AlphaGo. I guess you can't really call it that. What do we call this? Is there a name for it?
I don't think so. It's just an attachment, I guess.
All right.
A hane.
We'll call it the Ryan Lee special.
No, I don't think we should call it that.
All right.
So black would extend,
Mm-hmm.
and now white has two more options. So this is the more common one because it's good for territory
Mm-hmm.
locally, but right now it's not preferable because since black will want to extend at around K4
Yeah.
or maybe J4 in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So white doesn't really want to give black this sente turn.
Got it.
So it makes the right
Bottom
side
perfect.
Yeah, it makes it really good, and white doesn't want to see that. So more connecting is, I guess, reasonable. So now black can only play here because any other extension, white can invade.
Mm-hmm.
And now that these two attaching stones are pretty heavy,
Mm.
and they're not in a good
There'll
situation.
be a burden, and black doesn't really want to hang on to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
makes
yeah,
sense.
this is what happened in the
Right.
game. up to here.
Okay.
So yeah, the two responses, and a more aggressive response would be to pincer directly.
Uh-huh. In this case, though, I guess that's probably because the bottom side black will counter pincher or pincer. Pincer. I always get a lot of crap for saying pincher.
Yeah, so this is a very complicated variation.
Okay.
So after black hanes, black can play this and hane. So or black can attach. So there are quite a few choices for black, and I think, and I don't, when usually, well, for Japanese players, they usually don't like to start hardcore fighting in the opening, so
Okay.
they like to play things slow. So I think that's why I didn't choose this. But I guess it would be possible. Yeah, it's also it's possible.
So this is a choice.
It would it would just start a fight.
Okay.
So this is what happened in the game, and from before we can actually compare this to this one. But yeah, if we compare the two, what happened in the game, even though black also extended back, right? There's just a lot of there's things that white can do. So white can attach here. White can even invade in the future.
But you're saying that the other way he's not able to do that? It's much
in the other way it's a lot harder to do it. Right, so if you
I believe you.
If you attach, it's not easy to attach. There's definitely things white could do, but
they're not as advantageous, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to walk away from that having destroyed a lot of the territory, versus this shape, which has much more invasion potential. I gotcha. Okay. So how do you judge this then? Is this? I mean, black maybe is a little less efficient, but white would rather move the c5 stone out, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference one side or the other?
Black and white right now?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty even.
Okay, still even.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to tell because these moves so far, it's all pretty standard.
There's nothing unusual yet.
Yeah, it's hard to get an advantage when you're just playing
standard moves.
Yeah, standard moves.
All right.
Yeah. So, right now, what do you think what should do?
Top left side, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Top left, or, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to make that jump down to S10 unless I have to, and I don't know if black is strong enough yet to make me have to do that. That's a good question. Yeah. By the way, you're welcome to ask me quiz questions that I have no idea what the answer is. That's apparently one of Myungwon's favorite things. So please, bring them on.
Okay, so I'll give you some choice.
Shame. Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you saw the game or not.
I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you some choices. So you can play here, here. You can extend, and
D. I would take D.
Oh, you would take D.
Absolutely. Don't want to get the double wing for black. It'd be too nice.
Okay.
So.
I would see that as the second best move.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go over the options.
So. Sure. But don't keep me in suspense. Which one's right here?
It's C.
C. Okay, that was my first choice. I said upper left corner.
Oh.
Yeah, upper left corner.
Yeah, that's good. And I'll go over that in a second.
Okay.
So let's go over A first. So
okay.
Jumping down is definitely a big move because it encloses the shape and it makes the group strong. But keep in mind we're pretty early in the opening.
So maybe too soon.
So it's too soon right now.
Okay.
And black would definitely approach on this side. And now black is fast.
Right. He got great shape on the top, right? He's got the extension on both sides of the enclosure.
Yeah. So that's no good. And also the same reason pretty much for B is black would get the top. Yeah. Even though white's left side is really good, but white pretty much only has one side. And black has two sides that you can see that are developing.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Two
it's not
is,
ideal.
but this is a great principle. I mean, two is better than one. I think we can all take that to the bank,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
and also another reason on top of that
Mm-hmm.
is when you have a territory that's only developing on one side,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to really make it. So when you have, if we look at black's top right,
Mm-hmm.
if white invades on this side, then black can sort of attack and it'll be easy for black to get the top right.
He gets that nice
And if
deep box, that like
yeah,
ideal.
so when you have a box and your opponent invades on one side, you pretty much automatically gets the other.
So
Yeah,
that's
so
why it's
that's
so important to
yeah,
block this, huh?
yeah, it's very important. And in Go, and you see it a lot of, and you see this in a lot of higher level games where they really prefer that extension that makes when you get both sides, it's very you want to take that
And so
for sure.
conversely, that's why it's so important now for white to
Yeah,
take that away from black, which I guess
yeah,
brings us to the difference between C and D, the two options on the top.
yeah,
Why not
exactly. So
D?
yeah, so
What happens there?
D it eliminates black's extension,
Mm-hmm.
but it also gives black a good move here.
Ah, this
I don't know
okay.
if
This
that.
makes sense to me. This makes sense to me. I don't
Okay.
know. So what I've heard in this case is that White's shape in on the top side now. If he takes the 3-3 point, he would rather move that white stone at K17 one space closer, right? Or he'd rather not play another move at all. Is that this?
The
This is
move at K17?
yeah. He like that shape is still invadable, right? And he'd rather have it be either a little bit more secure or a little bit wider.
Not exactly,
Oh,
but you,
well, I'm totally wrong then.
but um, yeah, I think you are on the wrong
On the wrong track.
going.
Straighten
Yeah,
me out here,
you're
Mr.
going
Professional.
totally off of what I was trying to say. But
Okay.
because for this extension,
Mhm.
it's actually doesn't matter too much where it is. So I'm trying to get the edit tool. So you're saying you want the extension closer or farther away? It's true that this shape is very good. It's definitely non-invadable, or this shape,
That
and
that
you
looks
can
a little weird. I'd like go like all the way as
okay.
a checking extension or an attachment, right? Sort of limit the top.
Oh, okay. You would
Yeah.
you would go like, oh, what did I do? Okay, okay. Um,
Maybe
so
that.
you would go like here,
Or to
or
N17. Yeah. I don't know. Those all look kind of weird too. But
okay.
what were you gonna say? Because let's not focus on my incorrect train of thought. Let's not give him
Oh,
bad
okay.
habits out there.
Okay. What I was gonna say is because this approach, it's like even though what we said that white doesn't want to simply play d10 to just get his own territory, but after this approach, black can comfortably demolish it.
So the whole left side
So
is just
so the
uninteresting for
left
white.
side is really hard to develop now for
Got it.
white.
Got it.
So even though white got this side, it's we can see this move, this enclosure move as sort of getting a little bit of both. So it doesn't give black a good invasion.
All right, let me back it
On
up though, just a second here. If you
yeah,
make that extension at K17, and they approach, you're playing the high extension at F16 almost
yeah,
automatically. What
yeah.
happens if white tries something else, like a
Yes, that's a good
pincher or a
point.
kick
Yeah,
or one of those
that's a
other
good point.
ones?
If you try to kick, then
They settle as well.
it's
So
pretty much it's pretty similar, because white still gets the top side and black settles,
right,
and it seems like white gets a bit more, but the corner
it's
has
still open.
a lot. Yeah, it's still open. So yeah, that's sort of similar. Yes, the pincer is a very good point. So what if white pincers, right?
Hmm. It seems like
Um,
with the support from the lower left. Are you saying it correctly?
yeah.
Just are you mocking me? Because I
No.
deserve it. For saying pincher, I believe just about everyone in the chat is going to give me some holy hell. So anyway, but
If
yeah,
white
if you take a
pincer,
pincher, right?
yeah. So this is um, I- this is I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, right?
Uh-huh.
So why don't I extend and I just pincer, right? If black approaches, then I'm still like if black goes out, then this is a much worse shape for black, right?
Sure, sure.
So yeah, why don't I pincer, right? So one of the reasons is because if black it takes the simple joseki of invading the corner,
Hmm.
it makes this move that you just played.
Just
It
weird.
makes it in a bad position. Yeah, it's awkward. And remember, in Go, efficiency is really the top priority. So
Sure.
the move that you just played 5 seconds ago
Is now
now is
silly.
sort of, yeah, it's sort of, you can extend, but these two moves are still in an awkward position
Okay.
because after black jumps out here, the top side is not really big anymore.
Hmm. Right. The top side is uninteresting. White just needs to make uh, eyes. Like he makes a group that's going to do nothing but take up space. Right.
Yeah,
It's not going to make
exactly.
territory for him.
There's no influence
Got it.
or it's not urgent.
Okay. And so I guess the idea here is that even though you made the left side more efficient, right? Like that wall from the pincher stone is better situated to cooperate with the lower left hand corner. Even though you did that, it's not worth it
Yeah.
because the topside stone is junk.
Yeah.
Do I have that right?
Yeah, and it's not that much more efficient than usual. So it's not like it's super efficient. It's just a
Okay.
joseki, right?
They're just
It's
normal,
just facing.
right?
Yeah, it's normal. It's facing an okay direction.
Huh. That's a great way to think about it. Thanks, man. All right. Well, I just feel like that assumption of like you're playing that high extension after the approach almost
Yeah.
automatically. Why is that automatic? I don't know. Let me know
Yeah,
if this was boring to tell everyone else watching.
yeah, I'm glad you asked because that's a big reason why people are just playing the enclosure now.
Right.
Because if you have an extension, and also never, one of the things that I sort of see people do that are is they extend on both sides
From a 4-4
and
point.
yeah, from a 4-4 point. Never do that.
Why is that bad, Ryan?
Never ever tell us, Andrew. Why is that bad?
Well, because the 3-3 point, they'll go right in at the 3-3 point.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of your stones is going to be
black would go right there.
I got that one.
Now if you look at this corner, now you have two stones that are sort of not really doing anything.
Huh.
Well, they are doing something, but they're not doing
as much as they could be.
Do.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's funny because I feel like I see that in a lot of my students' games a lot. Like a lot. And I'm like, that looks a little weird, but anyway.
Yeah, and I play this out really quick because it's sort of like the standard. I guess it's joseki when black plays the 3-3, and also when white double hanes and white gets the corner, but it's still similar. Like
it's still not where
these
you
two
wanted
stones
it.
are still in a pretty awkward position.
Got it. So what sort of sequences do you expect if they make an extension on one side and the enclosure on the other side? I guess is a simpler way to ask that question. Because I assume you don't want an extension on both sides. If you've made an extension on one side already, presumably you should just make the enclosure on the other one, right?
Yeah. So if it was already like this, you put a stone there, and now white encloses. So this shape is much better.
Right. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. In terms of efficiency.
I'm so glad you said much better instead of like much worse. I would have been like, no, yeah, much worse.
Yeah. So you were asking what the variations are with?
No, I guess I just wanted to reiterate that that's probably
just to
better.
reiterate that this is a better shape.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you. That explains. I guess we went through those 4 options, and it's pretty clear now why white plays here. It's sort of the only choice.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I guess I would expect black to split the side on the left rather than make his gold wing formation on the top.
Yeah. So if black extends, then white will extend, and you can see that this, even though like from before, remember when we had the 4 options and white picked this one, then black would get this extension. But if black extends now and white gets this shape, it's much better than before because black didn't get the F17 approach. So the top left is much more boxy.
Right.
So
it's better.
It's better for
it's just
white.
better, right?
Yeah. So black doesn't want white to get what he wants.
So he's going to split
So
up.
of course he's going to split up. And that's a very interesting choice to wear.
Yeah, that's funny, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Is Koji just messing with him here? What is this? Is this...
Yeah. So for this, so I guess I don't know. If you would play, what would you do if you were black?
I would play C11.
I'm putting you on the spot again.
No, it's okay. I would play C11. I think I would feel this is normal because I feel like it's equidistant.
Yeah, it is. So this is common when the bottom left looks like this.
Huh.
I'll add a black stone here.
All right. And the bottom's still a little funny, but okay, the left side is what we're focusing on here.
Yeah. So this, if the left side looked like this, then it would be normal for. Wait, I have an extra stone somewhere. It would be normal for black to play here.
Okay.
So now when white extends, then black goes in the corner.
Sort of forcing white to decide what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And give up more of the corner.
Yeah. So black takes the corner in Sente, and now black can Tanuki. And so this stone is sort of like a decoy. So black gets the corner, but like this stone, it's not really heavy. So black doesn't really want to jump or run out right now. So in the future, black, like this stone is not dead, but it's sort of like there. White wouldn't spend a move to kill it.
It's sort of like a preemptive invasion that he can. It's a sleeper cell. It's like ready to go.
It's Lee Sedol's favorite type of situation.
Where he's just got the thing that's.
He loves those shapes where it's sort of dead, but you have to kill it for it to be dead. But it wouldn't be efficient for you to kill it.
Yeah. That's great. Okay.
And in Chinese we call them we call us like zombie mode.
Zombie mode.
Yeah, where he sort of plays these zombie groups where it's sort of not alive, but you can't really kill it.
So this is the Halloween stream that we needed. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's a common invasion. And so when if white pincers on that side, then black gets the comfortable.
I'm sorry. Did you say if white pinchers on that side, or
I said pincer.
Oh, okay. I should take some lessons. Oh man. All right.
Okay, so back to this shape.
Right.
I think the reason why black didn't play here is he was afraid that white would take this side.
And now it's like, those look really thin on the left, huh?
Yeah, even though it's the white stone at C5, it's not at C6. It's further away. But white is really thick here.
So he can attack those two stones pretty
severely.
since
white connected here at D4.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it was like thick. It was really thick and not very good for territory. So white would definitely do something to black right now, like maybe something here.
Got it.
So I think that's what he was afraid of. And
now white doesn't want to play on the top side.
Yeah, now if white plays on this side, then it's farther away and it's smaller also for white. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So it's a little weird looking, but all of these moves we got through 20 moves here, and they all make perfect sense, right? Anybody got any questions? Now's a good time. But I think it's been so clear. I think everybody can follow. Well, so now we're gonna get into the weird moves, right?
Well, not exactly.
This one's normal too.
This seems like this is all quite normal. I could show you like another sort of potential game.
You show us whatever you want. Sounds good.
So there's another possibility that maybe I shouldn't go back too many moves. I'll just edit the lower side.
Okay. If you're just joining us, by the way, I'm Andrew Jackson. This is Ryan Lee, One Dan Pro with the American Go Association. We're reviewing the round of 16 game in the Xin'ao Cup. How'd I do there? Is that... Nope, not so
Perfect.
much. Perfect. It's Koje versus Ida Atsushi. Koje on the black stones, Ida Atsushi on the white stones. All right. Looks like we got a different position.
Okay, so I'm just showing a hypothetical game.
Mm-hmm.
So if this happens and white sort of gets a thickness,
Right.
that's when it's common for black to play here. Even if the F17 stone isn't there.
Okay. It's still important to do the C12 split. Okay.
Yeah. So this would be a common situation where black would play here, even though it looks weird. But it's sort of like the only move, because if black approaches, then white would definitely pincer and develop on the lower side or the left side.
Mm-hmm.
And if black plays this move, then it's sort of too close to the wall to get a comfortable extension. So this move is common, and after this move comes the attachment.
Okay, so this is all sort of normal with a little bit of a transposition. This is similar.
Yeah.
It rhymes, maybe. I don't know. Kind of a way to think about it. It's not the same shape, but it's similar.
Yeah, it's very similar. So this is like a possible shape that's, I think it's come up before.
Okay. All right.
And
maybe in one of your millions of Blitz games.
Maybe. I wouldn't remember. Anyway, so this attachment is pretty standard. And also, is this the only response for white?
That's a great question. Could he just draw back to avoid giving any forcing moves? Or is that too soft here?
I think this would be possible, but I think it would be a bit soft, because black would
do the same extension on top.
Because black can get an extra extension at B9 after he gets Sente at B15.
So he's going to live very comfortably.
Yeah, so he would get that extension there.
Well, I wouldn't want a Hane on the inside, because I feel like that would just give black such perfect development if I Hane the other way. And I don't really like a bump, so I'm going to say yes. It's the only one.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Yeah, so let's just show this. So most of the time, we can't say all the time, because
in Go there's never all the time.
There's never all the time. So most of the time, when you have a shape like when black attaches on the second line, it's not beneficial to take this, because black gets thicker, and all white got was 3 points, which was sad.
So even though white secures all that territory on the left side, your delta there, you're just saying white just got 3 points.
Yeah.
Because you're counting the rest of the white territory as already existing?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but my maybe not exactly 3 points, but my point was that
it's not enough.
Not big.
Whereas black's thickness is going to be beefy.
It's much more. It would be worth more.
Okay. So
and also so white can extend one more. Actually, I may, but even if white can, it's still black's goal is just to get thick.
So now white got 4 points. Yay! Right, like.
Actually, still 3 points, because the Atari is Sente.
Oh, no. Okay.
Because we see this like that. Yeah, so black got what he wanted.
Mm.
So
So
black
white's never going to go
invasion-
along with this. Yeah.
Yeah, white's not gonna be able to attack black's group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So only move, and then kind of like a joseki sequence here with the extension on the top, and
Yeah, yeah. And this move is interesting.
seems a little conservative.
It is very conservative. So if white blocks, then black can wedge in.
And this would be. Does white have to
Actually, sorry.
Atari on the top?
Sorry. Black can't not wedge in because white has a stone here. I made a mistake. So if white plays here, then I think white doesn't want black to settle easily.
Hmm.
And this is definitely not a common move, and it's very bad on points. So don't. It's not good.
This is a special circumstances. This is maybe the first unusual move. Would you say?
Yeah, and I don't think it's a good move. Just because it's sort of gote.
Huh.
Because even though white doesn't give black any agi at all, but it's so conservative and
he could have more points.
And yeah, so white is stressing on the fact that black's not alive and white can attack it, but it's not like white can't kill it in one shot.
Right.
So black would most definitely tanuki right now.
And is that what he does?
And yes, it is what he does. He invades here.
All right.
So the normal, I think the reason why white played here is because he didn't really know how to respond. So if white does
That's
this
what
move,
I expected. And then we'd have the crawl and the block.
Yeah, then you have, and this is very
clamp, right?
very annoying, the clamp, because if white goes down, then black can tanuki.
And he's got the aji later. Oh.
Yeah, because this aji is very annoying.
Whoa, that's totally different aji than the one I was going to talk about.
Oh.
I mean, not that I know the aji that I was going to talk about. I've probably taught my students something wrong.
So this aji.
Yeah, show me.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you first. I was going to say that black could approach at h17 with the aim to jump to d18.
That is the other aji. Yes.
I was so worried.
In this case, black has a weak group, so you wanna.
You'd want to use your aji to settle.
Yeah, exactly.
And this one, I don't know. Would you please show me this one?
And this one is when it makes these two stones stronger. Because when black attaches and white would push, but after white pushes, white has to defend.
Because of the cut at c17.
Yeah, this cut. So normally when black cuts, white would Atari. But now
can't do it.
This move is Atari.
And then everything crumbles. It's all over. It's all over.
So it seems like white can play here, right? If black Ataris, then white can Atari here. But we can make a better sequence. So when white pushes, black can cut.
Just cut without losing the liberty.
And when white Ataris, then black can go back. And now black can do whatever he wants. He can play here or. So what I'm saying is since we have this aji, and also the possibility of this one,
which helps make an eye on the side.
Which helps make an eye at a15. Black will tanuki as well.
So he'll clamp.
So white most likely can only connect, but then black will play this direct immediately.
So if white dreams of ever attacking it in the future, white needs to make the solid connection, which leaves black the potential for the big endgame later, right?
So I think he probably thought of these. He definitely saw these two and didn't like either of them. So I think that's why he chose this move. But I think he should still get the corner first, and it would still be maybe Maybe black would still tanuki, but I think this would be a better shape.
Okay.
So in the game, black invades.
What do you think? Is this? I mean, do you feel like white is better here? Black is better here?
I think it's still no one really has an immediate advantage
Okay.
yet. But in this situation, maybe a lot of players would choose the extension.
Just as it being more peaceful?
Uh, I think just because it seems like it's easier to see, right? It's still the opening. There's a big extension still
All right.
there, and I think a lot of players would choose this. But here right now, this move is actually bigger than just an extension because the left side and the top left has been settled already.
Makes sense.
So this move is big. And
this is the sequence you showed us earlier about this invasion Aji, right?
Yeah. Oh, and white takes. So now black has to be careful. So the reason why, so if white connected, I think I showed this earlier.
Yeah, this is the one you showed, and you showed that just black capturing those 3 stones isn't maybe as big as it looks because of the double hane. That's the Cliff Notes. You can rewind if you want to check that out. Anyway.
So
Sorry.
So white is not locally alive. So white would most likely have to spend a move here, and then I think he doesn't want black to get sente. And also, I think the reason why he took the stone is because of the left side. So he played a thick move already, and he needs to use that thick move. And the quickest way to use that is co-threats, right?
Makes sense.
So, so one thing, if black extends now, then white has better shape. So I think white would probably jump out
and welcome the fight. I would be okay with fight.
It would be much more different when the stone was on that side, because of the agi, and also this move would be sente.
Which move? Sorry. Oh, the S11.
This move would be sente. Yeah. So black locally, for black to the best move or the most aggressive move is to Atara, and that's what he did. So I think he's planning on sacrificing the left side and taking the ko.
Because you're assuming that that's going to be the biggest co-threats that he's going
to... Yeah, because if black responds to a co-threat here, black has no co-threats because white is just so thick on the board. And right now, it's not big enough to just play any 2 moves in sente. I don't know what.
You would just laugh. You'd just be like, take 2 moves. I'm going to take the ko.
Yeah, because taking the stone, it's not just really thick. It's also like it makes black really thin. So you have moves here now that are working, and also
03.
So you have this move and you have this move.
Whoa, S3.
Yeah, if you directly 03, it might not work. But if you had, so this is a common.
This must be a brilliant Atsushi. Please enlighten me. S3, I would not have found. What happens next?
So if black blocks, then now, and then white can 03.
Now you can just go bumping in and live in the corner.
Yeah, now it's very tricky. So if black does the regular response, now you can see how this exchange helps in the corner.
Hey. Oh,
black can only do this, and now white is so comfortable, and black got nothing.
Black stones are all in dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sad.
And if black blocks, then white can play this move. And still, for the same reason, black cannot do anything other than letting white
connect,
take some points.
Right. Got it.
So after this,
Mhm.
Black's old territory is all destroyed. Even though Black got the left side, it's not nearly as big.
Right. There's no way those are enough as the Aji that White gets, plus the territory, plus Black's inefficient moves at S8, Q8, P8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so that's White's plan. White's plan is, hey, Black can't answer any of my co-threats, but Black's plan is, I'm going to start this co because I'm going to give up the left side.
Yeah.
How does that
So
work?
either players are sort of getting what they want.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so White played this move before starting the code. This is because Black, since he knows that Black can't respond,
He wants a
this is
bigger
a better
threat.
way. This is a better way to get the left side.
That is very sneaky. He essentially got like 2 moves here by transposing the order. He got an extra move on the left side.
So he got this exchange pretty much, which was definitely good for White.
That's slick. Yeah.
Yeah, and Black can't do anything because
he doesn't have any
covenants. With this move, Black can't. If Black takes, then White will just take this side, right? And now Black has to spend another move here.
And White has Sente.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense for Black to do anything else.
Sure.
So this is a critical sequence here, and now this is all Black. Black probably saw this exchange. So now we can see that after a few moves, Black totally destroyed the right side. Right, these stones are cut off, and these 3 stones are pretty much dead.
And that framework on the bottom is huge, right?
Like, yeah, it looks very big. Yeah,
not just the framework on the bottom, the framework on the top right, like White's
all of the right side. Yeah,
is all okay.
Yeah, if anytime when Black feels like spending a move, this is all territory on the bottom right. So, but of course, White got the left side, but it doesn't. It just doesn't seem as big. So I don't think this is a good exchange for White.
Got it. So even though White locked down the left side, it looks like Black's territory is even larger. Is that right?
Yeah, I think this exchange is not favorable for White.
Okay, so now we're looking at maybe Black leading, and we also don't have any fights yet. Like, this is still fairly peaceful.
And it's also Black's turn, so
even better.
I think that's the key point now. Yeah, so let's see what would you do now?
If I'm Black, the top side, but I would maybe. I saw you play N7, which looks like it cuts down on the Aji. I don't want to deal with anything down there, but it also seems a little slow. I feel like maybe L16 is a little more ambitious, and it also limits White's left side, right? Like if
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable choice.
K16,
but I don't think that's what he did in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he played this move.
So he wants to cut down the Aji on one of the 2 halves of this.
Yeah, so I think his plan is that if one side, after this move, if White extends, then Black can just play on this side.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not even going to spend a move at N7. He's just going to assume that those 3 stones are dead to be super efficient.
Huh. And if White plays on the bottom side, then I assume...
Yeah. So if White plays on... Oh.
I guess he played there.
That's what he did in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, if White does something here, and if it ends in Gote, then this move is huge.
Right. Then it's sort of the reverse. He takes the whole upper right quadrant and assumes that those.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So White says, "Can't let this happen."
Yeah. So he's sort of seeing these 2 as Miai now.
Got it.
And White just touches out. Wow.
Surprised?
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised because this is very heavy, and White just drags out a group out of nowhere.
Yeah, where's it gonna go?
You would see, yeah, exactly. So usually you would see, some probings, like maybe here, see if what Black responds, or maybe do some attachments before doing something so ambitious. So he just drags this group out. And And I don't really understand these moves. So I think he doesn't want to push out because he doesn't want to give black moves in the center.
Because again, coming back to G5 is going to give black just the
Yeah,
enormous moyo on the bottom.
yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So he's trying to settle.
Looks hard. Looks hard to settle without giving black a lot of points, right?
Yeah, so if white extends, then black would extend again here.
Hmm.
So yeah, even the so that's why I didn't really agree with white sort of dragging this out because even though you're making a group alive, you're losing points and you're losing moyo here and there, and
Sure.
you're giving black other things like black gets moyo in the center now, it gets more influence. So it looks like it's starting to become a difficult game for white,
Okay.
and it looks like Kojie is
Happy.
doing.
I
Yeah,
mean, that
he's
just looks. If I'm making moves
yeah,
like that, I feel pretty happy.
yeah. So he's just forcing white to live.
Uh-huh.
And this double hane is a common to Tsuji.
For making some
Um,
shape.
yes, because if you just connect, then and black extends back, uh, black's shape is much thicker.
There's fewer forcing moves, sort of.
Hmm. So I think white is trying to get something in the top right corner.
Okay.
So even though it looks like you're just sending a soldier to death, you're sentencing him to death, but
And
that soldier
actually.
is very useful.
So,
Yeah, so
yeah,
he's
there we go. I was about to ask, please show us, but it looks like we're just going to see it immediately right now.
yeah, so this move is very tricky because
Mhm.
if black hanes, then white can wedge here, and now it's difficult for black to respond. If black's best response now is just to Atari and connect.
Huh.
And not only white got some points, white can Atari and also get uh, make the group alive much easier.
Sure, sure. That would be ideal. So if black tries the Atari from the other side, looks like snapback, but actually that other
Yeah,
stuff's an Atari, what happens?
yeah. So it's not snapback because what black can take
Take
this.
that one.
Yeah,
But
but
that's not as
white
good
would play
because
white would play here, and now black cannot take because white can Atari,
then it's just disaster.
and yeah, that looks really bad.
Loses everything.
Yeah, so black can only connect, but now these three stones are in a very. It's sort of similar to what happened before, but now black can.
Black
So
loses even more territory. White's even
yeah,
closer to being totally alive. Like,
yeah.
it seems.
So it's
Yeah,
sort of similar to before.
yeah, yeah. Because he gets the Hane and Connect on the top in Sente, right?
Yeah.
Can't have that.
So he was talking about if black plays on this side, then we can Hane and connect in Sente, which is ice base and points.
Don't. Yeah, if you're attacking somebody and they do that to you, it seems like something has gone horribly, horribly
Yes,
off
and
plan.
yeah, and this shape, of course, is one of the lowest efficiencies you could get, right? You have all these stones bunched together.
I don't
The
know. It could be the B2 bomber. Looks like it might be what do they call that? The Tie Fighter.
the
The
what?
Tie Fighter. It's like a B2. Like you got the. Let me show you this one. I can't believe that be the only one who calls this the Tie Fighter, right? This guy. It's kind of like right?
Oh,
You've almost made a
I
perfect like 3x3 square. Like that's it can't be good, right? Anyway, sorry. Let me give you control back.
yeah. Yeah, the point is that this is just really bad. Okay, so yeah, this is their only response, and white would block again. So white is still getting some Aji, but in this way, white can't get O18 in Sente.
Hmm. Hmm. So it's harder for him to break out and get to
Yeah.
L17. He's gonna need
Yes.
to live smaller on the top, which I
Yeah,
guess
and
is what we see
yeah.
happening here.
Yeah, and white needs to live, so white has to attach more and make black thicker in the center. So these are all good probing moves for white. So white gets now white after these exchanges, white now gets an Atari in Sente. So I can have an extra stone here, which could be helpful for making this group alive.
Got it. Got it. So even though he doesn't get all of that, he still has some forcing moves. It's hard for black to completely deny him some shape.
Yeah. So I think this is the last move that before the break at lunch. So white actually crosscut after, well, we've been saying that white is trying to live, right?
Sure.
White needs to make himself alive, and
he actually says, "No, I can crosscut."
Yeah, white crosscuts. So
that's some fighting spirit.
That?
What do yeah. It seems to me that white needs to get the initiative, right? Because if he just lives on the top and black goes back to making those 3 stones in the lower right like die and just fade into tiny irrelevance, then there's no way white's going to get back in the game, right? So white has to take the initiative. He's got to take the initiative. He needs something to attack against. I don't know. I'm stretching, man. This looks like an uphill climb.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is actually not an easy move to respond to.
Why
because
not?
black, even though white is the group that's being surrounded, the black stones they're pretty tight in liberty, right? So the next move, black has to do something locally, or else an Atari here.
Yeah, I know what he does.
This stone is already.
Is
already dead.
He's got to play the empty triangle, right? He's got to do it.
Yeah. So
is that what he does?
Actually, yeah. So actually, locally, this is the only move to not die.
So this is the only move here in the local fighting.
Yeah, because that's the only way to protect. Because if black Atari is this, it's better. It may seem like it's better shape, but after this exchange, this stone is already pretty dead.
Sure. So you don't want to do that because you just
So remember, this is Sente, and now.
Oof.
So this is a very typical dead shape.
Oh yeah.
On the side.
If you don't know this is a dead shape, you should do some life and death problems, right? I mean, not you, of course, the viewers, right? Okay.
Yeah. So. Oh, so you don't want to. So these forcing moves, you don't. It's when they're not necessary, you don't want to play them, and if they're bad for your groups, then you should obviously not play them.
Right. So this Atari move is like the perfect thank you move that if you play it.
Yes, white would definitely nod in thanks.
Right.
Yeah. So the reason why the empty triangle move is good is because if white plays something on the right side, black and Atari, and cut off this group.
Right. And now even though that's Atari at P18, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because connecting or cutting. So these two, and now this whole group is dead.
Just gone.
Yeah. Just fade.
So
white has to respond or do something on the top side to protect this this Atari at N17 that we just talked about. So I think the best way to do that, and not that, the best way to do that, so after that exchange, is to just Atari and go under. And that's what white does.
Okay. All right. While we're here, before we start off on the next break in the action, where it looks like black got Sente to take the bottom make those 3 stones fade into irrelevance. I just want to mention here, I'm Andrew Jackson. This is Ryan Lee. He's one of the AGA's one-dime professionals. Really glad to have him here, especially because he's on the East Coast, which means it is late for him. So thank you so much for being with us, Ryan. We got some feedback from folks in chat saying, first off, this is pitched right at SDK level, which I think was what we were going for, right? So this is some good news. Like we seem to be right what we were looking for. The other question I'm getting is they want to know, do you have your own Twitch or YouTube account? Twitch or YouTube channel for them to get more of this?
I do not yet. I was thinking about doing some of that, but I just haven't really gotten to it. So no, I don't have my own.
Okay,
channel.
Maybe later. We'll watch this space. But we will see some more of you here. I think you've signed up to do some additional streams with us through November and December. So if you want to find out where those are, subscribe usgo.org, the eJournal, and of course subscribe here to YouTube, Twitch, whichever your preferred thing is. Anyway, on with the show. Sorry with the digression. What do you think about this one?
Okay, so from after the exchange, where white took the left side and black took the right side, let's go back a bit to just sort of see what happened. So after the exchange, this is what the board looked like.
Right. White takes the cash on the left. Black says, I'm going to take more cash on the right.
Yes. So after white makes the attachment and runs out this group, now we're like this. So white dragged this group out. He got a little bit of territory on the top, not a whole lot. And black, the more important thing is black got the center. So even though it's not really like you might not like it's not points or it's not really, it doesn't look like anything important, but gaining that influence is
going to really
worth
keep
something.
White from making anything big on the left side, right?
Yes, that's exactly. So now, before white might have some moil, but now it's all like now white just has to reduce black because of all these stones in the center from attacking.
So I don't know if I really want to ask this question. I'm afraid of the answer. Do we need to count? Like, do we need to take a look at this and sort of count
right now
to
it's
judge
kind of difficult. It's very difficult because it's hard to count black's points. We can count white, but for black you can't really count.
But you know that black's ahead even without counting.
Yeah, and it's important to do this
because
in the game, just from sort of how the game flows. You can have like in higher level games, you would have these pretty even exchanges, and it's like the player's feeling of the game. When they made a bad exchange, they really know right off the bat, like after a few moves, seeing their opponent respond, they see that, and it really influences like what you think about the game, and it might influence how you play. And it's like a psychological thing.
So you're saying that if I see that I made a bad exchange, you'll know if you're my opponent,
and you will know, and
I'll know that you know.
We will both know.
And so you can sort of perceive immediately that the
and some people play better when they're ahead, or some people play better when they're behind. So it's sort of like it's a psychological thing. Like,
do you have a preference? Would you rather be ahead or behind?
Have a preference?
Yeah.
A lot of people know that
you can
I can't
decline to
play
disclose. That's fine. You sorry, what was that? You say you can't if you're.
If you've seen my games during the 2016 Congress, you would know that I cannot play when I'm ahead, and it's sort of some I don't know, some strange thing that I've developed that it's just I have a problem in my game, and it's one of the biggest problems right now for me actually is that I can't I sort of just capitulate when I'm ahead.
Well, it seems
really
like you're in
getting
good company. I mean, I think if we've watched we've watched a number of Koje games here on the channel, and I think that we've seen that when he gets out in front, he seems to make one or two slack moves and sort of coast. And then next thing you know, I mean, like we saw the recent game versus Xin'ao, the game
Yeah.
2 of that series, where he was in a kind of favorable position, but one or two slow
Yeah,
moves, and then Xin'ao is just on him. So you're in good company, is all I'm saying.
yeah. So,
I don't know what we do about
so
it. You're also in bad company because I have the same problem and I'm terrible. So this is
no, I mean it's not like it's a pretty like everyone has that issue. I mean like when you think about it, like when you feel like you're gonna win and you're winning, right?
yeah. You don't want to
You're,
screw it up. It's
you don't want to
tense.
screw it up, but you have that mentality that you're ahead and you're like you're gonna win like if you play normal.
Uh huh.
But just from having that thought, you start not playing
And you're
normal.
second
You start
guessing, and then you're like in your own
yeah
head, and it's just
yeah
everything goes to crap.
and yeah, and I think all players get in that
Mm-hmm.
have that problem,
Hmm.
and I think one of the biggest advantages that stronger players have against their opponents is like sort of these mentality issues. When they're behind, they don't really they have that they know that they're going to fight, but they fight the right way, right? They play these aggressive moves, but they're not overly aggressive, and
Right.
they really make
They're trying to
that they
keep
try
it
to make their
balanced.
opponent
Right.
yeah the balance is still kept, but they're just slightly aggressive, so they're trying to make their opponent make mistakes.
It's too easy to make an overplay that you know is an overplay, right? Like
Yeah,
if you're behind
yeah,
and you're like, screw it, I'll just make what I know is an overplay, right? And then if it doesn't work out, I'll resign. Like that's kind of an easy thing to do. Whereas to make the aggressive play that isn't too much of an overplay, I don't know.
yeah. So these well, you see these top pros, and there's like a system, there's a ranking system, right? They have these points,
Uh huh.
and these top pros where they're really similar in strength.
Uh
Like I
huh.
would say maybe like top 50, they're all very similar. Top 100 even, they're
And so then the
pros.
difference is this mentality.
So yeah, this mentality can really put them up there.
Oh, oh my gosh, keep them in the
I'm
hunt.
not saying I'm not saying like their strength is all equal.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely some like we know like I think Park Young Hoon, he
Mm-hmm.
has the best end game, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like these so some players are good at other things. Like they're still it's not very far apart. They're all very similar in strength.
And that mental
And
thing
it's
can be
and
real.
it's usually that mental thing that wins the game.
Okay. All right. So I
Yeah.
guess here we are. It looks like Koje is staking out a huge territory on the bottom. We are getting a number of questions about the current state of the fight, where it looks like White has maybe died in a big way. Not sure if you want to jump ahead
Oh.
or not. It's up to you if we want to keep going and see how we get there. Your call. Um, but
Um
we can also just let the commenters discuss the life and death status. It's probably good for them to try and figure it out. So, your call.
we'll just continue and until we get up to that point.
Sorry, guys, you'll just have to wait.
So White plays this move, and we can see from this move that
Uh-huh.
White doesn't like the state of the game right now.
Huh.
Because if White thought the game was looking okay, then he would play something like this, right?
Uh-huh.
So like he would let Black get something, and he would
He would
get
try and
something,
take something on the left
but
side.
he obviously thinks that that's not enough.
Right.
So he goes inside. And Koji is not he's not letting White getting away with it. He's just going straight out. I'm gonna kill you. um, yeah, because Black can still defend, but in this situation, when you start defending, it could really sort of leave you in the wrong path. Because if Black starts defending, then White will keep threatening,
Hmm.
and now it's hard for Black to defend, because if Black gets this, then White starts cutting Black off, and now the top side looks sort of
And
in the middle of
and
nowhere.
White's going to be able to use the thickness on the left now, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
And if white uses that, white might be able to get some territory in the center. So it's important to play the right moves. Like when you're the thicker side, you don't want to play defensive moves. You want to use that.
I feel like this is kind of like a game of chicken, where you're like, you're like, are you really gonna let me keep going in? Are you really gonna try and play on the outside? I don't know. But that's a great way to think about it. If you're thicker, you don't want to play defense, right? Whereas if you're thin, maybe it's the right time to just secure the territory you have. Did I paraphrase that about right?
Yeah, I think so. So Go is a game of chicken, where you're trying to make your opponent the chicken.
That's right. That's right. Eat a big chicken, as Go Chuan says. And like you say, I guess here's white poking at the weaknesses in black's connections there on the right side.
Yeah. So why can't now, since black is so thick, why can't just simply connect now? Because it's obviously not enough eye space. So white needs to keep poking at it and see if he can get into black's weakness. And in these fighting situations, it's very important to think about every move, because often one bad move will really change the game. Yeah.
Okay, so the fight's on. The game's afoot.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't seem like black's really trying to kill. He's just saying, like, if you live small, then
he'll
like
still have enough points, is what
he'll
he's
still
saying.
have enough, yeah. And in this case, like, it's still not that easy for white to live, because there's not really places for eyes. So even though that you can see that there's a cut here, but since black is so thick, on the right side, like, it's not
really threatening anything.
Yeah, it's not doing anything. It's black's getting cut, but black's connected on the other sides, and white's still in the middle here. So I think white is trying to cut and make some agi to find some life. But we can see that now it's very
hard.
difficult for white now. Yeah. This push is more powerful than the one that I did. So when pushing this way, black still has to fix the cut on this side.
Which means white can now connect at S6 and go after that knot on the right?
Yeah.
I'm not claiming to have read that. I'm just thinking that would have to work if white was going to have a chance here, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that will work, though. I think white will do something here. He'll probably wedge first.
And that changes the situation by...
So after the wedge,
oh, now we can attach on M.
It's quite complicated. If black, I don't think it's not really working for. Maybe I should read this out before putting.
No, that's fine. I think one of the fun things that we're doing here, this is a bit more of a casual stream, and one of the things that means is that this is more of a joint exploration, I guess, rather. So if you can tell us, like, what are you reading when you're looking through this? Like how are you?
So when black is, I think black doesn't feel like he needs to block, because it looks quite complicated. So white might have stuff like, wedging here, and maybe this peep here. So So there could be like a wedge here, and if black Atari's on this side, white can get this cut in Sente, and then when white connects here, then it will be ko like this. So on the bottom side, it's.
And how do we think about that ko? Is that a ko that's kind of light for white because he has so many threats to escape, or is this a ko that's?
It's a ko. If it was a ko like this, then it's a ko that black can't win. Just because of how many threats white has on the outside.
Got it. Okay.
But this is the sort of thing that we need to think about, or black needs to have read all these variations out before attempting. Because if just one of the variations worked, then and white lives, then black would have lost
all
a lot
of his
points.
Cash, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if the viewers are interested in us in exploring these variations here.
Your call. I think we should explore what's interesting to you.
Okay.
I know that there's some questions about that fight, and you mentioned something interesting that happened on one of the earlier boards here.
Oh yeah. Yes. So in this tournament, there's a older Chinese player who's not been actively playing for the recent years for quite a long time.
So he's sort of like the previous generation. When we say older, are we talking like?
Yeah, he's like the previous generation. I think
some people call
he's in the 50s. In the 50s.
Okay. So some people call Lee Sedol older, right?
Okay.
Like Ke Jie,
yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, I was a bit ambiguous
when I phrased that. Contextual. It also could be like 80s, right? Like I don't know. Are we talking Ni Wei Ping here? So. All right.
I don't think he's quite 80 though.
All right. 54. We're hearing 54 from Miss Jenny Shen in the chat. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. So he's his name is Feng Tianfeng, and he played in the preliminaries, and it's quite unusual that he made the top. So he won. He had to win 3 games in the preliminaries in a row to make the top 64. And then in the round of 64, he played Gu Li and won.
Whoa!
In a very complicated fight. It was like whole game fighting.
Huge upset, huh?
It was a huge upset. Defeated him. Came into the round 32. And then he played a young 4P. And he won as well. So he came in the round 16, which was so this was huge news.
Huge upset. Sweet 16. All right.
Yeah, but unfortunately in the round of 16 he didn't perform very well. It was his opponent was Shinjin So.
Yeah, he was faced up against Shinjin So, who's maybe one of the younger players.
Yeah,
days,
well, I
right?
think
he's
it's actually
16?
top 3 in Korea right now.
Yeah, top 3 in Korea, and he's very young.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the rising stars.
He was born in 2000.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, very.
I feel
16.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so very young, very strong, but unfortunately, it was an extremely fast game. It finished in 53 moves.
Oh my gosh. Yikes! So that's got to be like some kind of a mistake happened here, huh?
Yeah, he was quite a simple misread, and also that's very surprising because he read very well against Gu Li, and he all the way up until now he's been playing very well in the tournament.
Sure, I mean if you take out Gu Li on like a full board all the way fight, you're like boom, and then the 16-year-old kid, oh no. Yikes.
Well, 16-year-old, but he's like also like top 3 in Korea.
All right. I think we have that game ready. If you want to look at it, we can take a little break and come back and look at it, or we can keep going here. What do you think is most interesting? What are you looking for?
We can. Oh, do we have the?
Yeah, we can get the game up in the English game room. No problem.
We can look at it quickly just to see
All right.
So they know what we're talking about.
Sounds great. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll get that set up, and don't go anywhere, guys. So we'll come back. We're going to show you the Shinjin So game versus Fang Tianfeng. What I do?
Yeah.
Fang Tianfeng. I think I got the tones wrong. Anyway, thanks, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. All right. Hello. I'm Andrew Jackson. I'm back here with Ryan Lee, One Don Pro from the not the Korean Budokan Association, which is just always right on the tip of my tongue, the American Go Association. Ryan, thanks for being with here. It's great to have you from the East Coast. Really appreciate your giving us this great commentary. As I said before we went off, we were going to go look at that Shinjin So game. Sadly, I totally lied. I apologize. Don't have an SGF handy on it. And while we were gone, this game ended. So let's talk about what's going on here, because I guess some folks were curious about what happened.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like later in the game, Black got enough in the fight. So Black just simplified the fight and ended the game. So let's just see what keeps going on. So here,
Okay.
So before we were talking about how when Black blocked, there were sort of a lot of variations that he had to really read through before choosing to block. But he didn't. So that's another thing. So if you
He must have
So
found a
he read
variation
out,
that didn't work. Right.
or that he just read out that he really had enough points. He
But
had
this is enough.
more
Oh,
points than
okay.
white. Yeah, I think that's what he did.
Okay.
So you can see black just secured the bottom right side
Let's
in
white
Sente.
connect. Right.
Yep.
To in game.
Yep. So he does this and Atari. So we can see that black is really trying to be thick right now, and this Atari, it's just really going on the thick side. And this stone it's bigger than it looks, because even though the top, so white, we can see that white got connected, but white also cut off the top,
The
the
black
top
group
side.
in the middle. Like that
Yeah,
black group in the middle that's sort of floating
that,
now.
yeah.
So if black captures that stone, he's all connected. So
yeah, and that's what black wants, because black has quite a big lower right side. And we can, in a bit, we can do a count and see. So this is a common way to get good shape, is to sacrifice one stone and push over.
And now that black group in the middle looks like it's invincible. I mean, I don't want to say it's alive, because it doesn't have the eyes, but that's like living with points.
Yeah, it's not only alive, it's doing well.
It's done well for itself. It made good.
It's having pizza.
Is that the phrase? Nice and relaxed, having some pizza.
Yeah.
Nice shape down there on the bottom to connect.
Yeah.
Pretty classy.
So white can't cut black. So if white pushes, then black just makes the tiger's now, and another tiger's now then just connects.
Right.
So I think the most aggressive one would be this move. But it would be the same, because black can just attach under. It looks like white can Atari and Atari. But black can just extend,
and still connect.
It doesn't really do anything, because white has to go back here.
If he doesn't, squeeze, right?
Yeah.
That little spiral.
Yeah. Oh no, black needs to connect.
But now white would need to connect.
Yeah, now white needs to connect. Yeah. So some of you might saw that black and Atari here, but this is a ko, and this ko, black is way too heavy. And white is only, if white loses, then white only just loses black's territory back. So white can lose the ko, and
as long as because it's free for white. Like that was already black's territory. It'll still be black's territory if he wins. Free for white.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we shouldn't take that. It's not worth it. So yeah, it's black can connect back still.
But this one, by pushing and then taking that key point, he connects without any trouble. Huh?
This one leaves it gives this sente. So I think that's why I did that. Ooh.
Whoa. Whoa. So I guess he's read out that if white Ataris.
That surprised me. Black and Atari here.
This looks complicated here, huh?
Yeah. I don't know why white pushed and cut. So I think white made a very critical misread here. Because white can just extend here, and black would have to respond maybe here or connecting.
Can't just hane, because then white will push through, right?
Yes, if black hanes, now we can see that the liberties of this black shape is really tight. So now black is all dead. So let's see what happens here. So black Atari is here, claiming that he has read out all the variations. So let's see what white can do. So first of all, white can Atari and connect. So if white does this, then black has 4 liberties.
What if black doesn't connect? What if he captures instead and essentially threatens a race on the top half?
Sorry, where?
Oh no, I guess. Nope, I'm not making any sense. I'm thinking if he takes the stone at G8,
Okay.
if he takes the G8 stone,
Oh, okay.
then he can threaten something like B8 and try and get a capturing race on the top. But that's
this shape is very important right now. So okay, so I was saying that if white connects, then the black group has 4 liberties if white plays first.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm with you so far.
So we can see if black tanukis, then if white. So if white plays here, then actually black would have 5 liberties. Well, I guess 4 liberties now, but white already played a move. So
I don't want to interrupt, but I have to ask, what group is black racing with? If this is a liberty race, it looks like white is connected on every side. So I'm not. What are we going for?
Yeah. So the race is here. So when black cuts,
thank you,
and Atari's in Atari, black can do this cut. There.
And now that's a valid cut.
But it's very important for black not to peep first and to cut directly. So if black peeps first,
now he has 4 liberties, and black has 4 liberties because white can Hane, right?
Yeah, if white Hanes, then black has 3 liberties now.
Got it. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead, but I'm like, what are we fighting with? If we're counting up numbers, I gotta say.
Right. So when I was counting, I meant that when white plays here, white played 1 move, and black has now 3 liberties. So black has 4 liberties in total. So looking at this side, black has to cut. So if black cuts here directly, now white can't. So white has to connect here. If white cuts, then black can peep, and now
it's over.
Now white's cut.
Catastrophe.
Yeah. So white has to try to extend liberties for this ball of a group. So I guess the only way to do that is to connect here. And black connects. And so white can extend now. And black connects. So I think must have done something wrong because white still has 4 liberties. And
so there might have been a sequence through here, huh?
Yeah, and now if white plays here, then black is still dead.
So where's black's Tsuji? Does he have a throw-in? Does he have a...
there must be a sequence here.
Aha! Well, we're on the hunt because we can assume that if Koje turns out at G7, he's got it, right? So we're sleuthing. We're going to narrow in on it where we're sure there's something here. And I guess if you're watching along at home, this is actually a great way to study the pro games where you see something like this, where this, if you've been following along so far, you see this move at G7, and there has to be a reason that white doesn't do the simplest thing, right? So now you can start looking at it and you can start trying to dig in and find out what's going on, right? I'm trying to stall. How am I doing?
You're doing well. I'm gonna need some more time to look at this though.
Oh. So actually, while we were talking, so I'm supposed to let you focus on it while you're doing that. But while we were on the break, we actually decided that we weren't going to play the short game because we didn't the game between Fang Tianfeng, because we didn't have a copy of the SGF. But now we got one. I'm looking to see if you like giggle when I pronounce it wrong. By the way, that's my tell. Anyway, so we actually did get a copy of the SGF, so that's ready if we want to do it. But we'd actually just agreed that we weren't going to do it because this game ended. So what do you think? What do you think? Should we do it? Oh, and actually that's right. While we're looking, we can look at the head-to-head here. XHU98, our graphics department, prepared for us a little bit of some statistics between Ida Atsushi and Koji, and as it turns out, both of these players are very young. Ida Atsushi is 22. He's one of the younger players in Japan right now, one of the new hope. He's 15th in Japan, and he's doing all right in the last couple months. Five wins, 6 losses. Koji also having a fairly strong showing, 15 wins and 4 losses. Atsushi has not won any international titles yet. Of course, it's a little different because Japan doesn't compete as much for the international titles as we know from Iyama Yuta. It's maybe less interesting. Anyway, so that's these guys playing before. They've only played once before, and Koji won that game. So the current standings there is 1-0 in favor of Koji. And actually, I guess since we know the results of this one, it is 2-0. What do you think? You got it? You're still squinting at it. Can you show us what you're looking at? What are you testing? What are you discarding?
Well, I'm trying to read there has to be something on this middle group that I'm not seeing because this is so simple, right? When white Ataris, it cuts off this group.
So, and there's no way he can race against anything else, right? Against the top group.
Actually, sorry. Actually, I see it now. It's actually something very simple that I did not see before. So if we go back to the sequence that I showed before, it actually doesn't really matter. Okay, let's go like this. So locally, black is actually dead. But if we look at the top group.
Oh, this kills the top group. Oh, because he gets those connection moves.
So since black already played H17 and white Tanukis, so
in this case, there's no eye on the top, right?
Black cuts white in Sente.
Right. I guess there's one eye on the top.
So there are 2 Gote eyes.
2 Gote eyes, right? One eye on the top, Gote, and yeah.
One here, and one here.
And 2 Gote eyes.
Sorry, guys.
Really just one eye.
It's 2 a.m. in the morning.
No, it's fine. I think that's a great example, though. You get tunnel vision on the reading. Maybe it's not that you're misreading. Maybe it's the implications, right?
Yeah. So we always got to look at the whole board.
Right. Not me. I only look at a small part of the board, and I do very well on that part. As it turns out. All right. Well, we've solved the mystery. Yeah.
So this is actually a big mistake for white because if white has to try to get something here. If black responds, then white can get this Atari and Sente, and now white's all connected.
Right, all connected, which changes the whole capturing race, and black crumbles. So black can't answer.
So the top right would all be connected, and there wouldn't be a life and death problem. So black cuts. And
he's just giving up those 2 stones, he says.
Yeah, so it's a question of whether if white can get enough from the center, because this Atari move, that black just got
Uh-huh.
is actually it's quite big. It's at least 15 points.
Whoa. How
At
do
the
you
very
count
least.
it? Okay, you say at least 15 points. I got it. You were very
So
ready with that one. How did you
I'm
know?
just I'm just looking at sort of like this, all of this. So this is all for sure.
Oh, you're right. I guess this is because
And
white
for white.
pushed, and white pushed instead of playing that original triangle blackstone, right? Which would
Yes.
have blocked the center, those 8
Yeah.
points.
And also we would have to count this and also these. So just like a quick look, it's at least that
It
much.
was a quick look for everyone else,
It's
right?
more.
Okay, okay. That's not
It
a
should be
quick look
more
for
than
me,
that, but
but all right. Okay.
so black gives up the 3 stones. It looks like there's still a life and death issue
Hmm.
for white. So this is a very awkward shape for white to do. So I think the best local shape is maybe here.
Hmm. Just to connect directly.
So he has to fix this wedge, right? Because this move is sente, black has a wedge here.
And boom, now he's cut. Right.
Yeah, now white's cut. And the way he fixes it is to give up a stone. And that actually
Does that give him an eye though? Because he's got the.
it's still a gote eye because this is sente. It's still a gote eye.
Gote eye.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand why he throws in a stone.
Maybe because just connecting feels really painful.
Yeah, but
If you gotta
it's
do it,
losing.
if you gotta do it, you gotta do it, right?
I'm not sure what the time situations are because
Hmm.
um yeah, maybe he was doing this for time.
All right. So now we got 2 half eyes, but white
So
lives
we
on the
see
top.
this. So we see this exchange. So now white actually has 3 half eyes.
Right.
Right? So we have since this is sente, we have another half eye. So
Mhm.
white is alive, but white is alive in gote
Hmm.
locally. So he actually makes a cut here. But I don't think he's trying to get
He's
a
struggling. He doesn't
benefit.
want to live in Gote, right?
He still has to live in gote, but he's trying to get something out of it. So I think he's trying to get this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what he did in the game as well. So he's trying to get some points while trying to live.
And Koje says that's fine. Go ahead, take those 5 stones on the top. Live, that's fine because he
So
just destroys everything on
yeah,
the
so
left. Is that right?
yeah, the middle is bigger. So he's just giving up the 5 stones
Uh huh.
and just taking the center. So I think that's it. I think this was the last move
This is the
in the
last move,
game.
and that's too much for white to come back from. Huh.
Yeah, so we can see that white was struggling
Huh.
all the way.
So we spent a lot of time at on the opening of the game. Would you say there was like a turning point?
Not really. I would say black has been pretty much ahead after this co-exchange that we actually spent.
So maybe it's the co-exchange was ill-considered.
Yeah, so I think white definitely didn't get enough from this exchange.
Hmm.
And well, actually just sort of looking at this, so both black and white, they had groups, right? Black had a group on the left side, white had a group on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
But after this exchange, black didn't spend any moves. So it's still black's turn. It was black's turn before he invaded.
Mm-hmm.
So black didn't spend any moves, and we can already see that there's a lot of empty space in white's cutoff groups, right? So we can see in the bottom right, we can see all the space that was all sort of empty.
Right. right?
But for
It's
the
just
left side,
bigger.
it's
Yeah.
all it's just bigger.
All right, so this ko and the fact that black even gets Sente to expand one side or the
Yeah.
other as he sees fit is kind of
Yeah, before the ko, it was pretty even. We all saw like all normal moves.
Mhm.
But after the ko, maybe it was this 3-3 move at c17 that sort of provoked white in trying to doing something really aggressive on the right side. And after the ko, white dragged out this group, which I also think is not
ideal.
It's not ideal. Yeah.
So I gotta ask, where would you play instead?
Gave black all the center and didn't really in Sente. So instead, I think it's still important to take what is big first. I think I would play this move.
Be patient, wait for an opportunity.
Yeah. So if black gets this side, then I can play this. And then I would have a stone there, so I wouldn't have to give up as much when I
right. Actually, make some territory on the top instead, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So after this, it was pretty much all. White didn't really have an option, right? So white had to live.
That crosscut didn't end up getting anything for him.
Yeah, it's a bit better than extending down and living locally, but it's still not enough. So which turned into this move, right? So you can see that white keeps invading.
Right, just
white
bouncing and bouncing and bouncing.
Yeah, and I think in this game it's important to see that it's not always beneficial when you
have
take
to be
away
doing
territory.
That's right. That's right.
It seems like black's always losing things. Like he lost the right side, he lost the top as well. But he gained the center and he gained thickness, and that's also very important when you're making when you're reading out the game and you're deciding what to do.
You make it all so clear, man. Perfect. Sounds great.
So black. You can see black simplifying the game, but when black simplifying the game, he's not losing anything. He's still making exchanges. So
he's not simplifying by giving things away. He's simplifying by making trades. Is that a good way to say that?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I mean, it sounds nice, but I don't think I could just do it, right? Like I think if I tried, I don't think that would come out.
Yeah, well, that's what he did. That's also why he's so strong, right?
There you go.
He's top number one. And now.
All right. Well, that seems like a great game for KJ. I guess our next stream, we should maybe talk about what our next stream is going to be, huh? Let's see. Our next stream, we've got some streams coming up. Do I have it open? I think the next one that we have commentary for is around Thanksgiving Day. We may or may not have some. So it'll be Thanksgiving weekend. We've got the 24th, 25th, 26th. We're still looking to find out who we can have on that. So stay tuned. Subscribe. usgo.org. It's the EJE Journal. The folks who helped out this evening, we had Badat Baduk, also known as Babs, helping with the game recording, and we had Jonathan Davidson doing first shift on the game recording this evening. Big thanks to both of those folks. X-Hero98 did all the graphics. And, of course, Ryan, couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it, 2:30 in the morning, and you decided to...
It's glad to be here. It was fun.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much. So, yeah, thank you. And, of course, you guys, if you guys weren't watching, we wouldn't be doing it. So thanks very much. Remember to teach someone to play some Go. And thanks for being so civilized in the chat this evening. I really appreciate it. Ryan, any final thoughts? What do you think? We got the Shinjin So game. What do you think? It's 2:30 in the morning, but we have the Shinjin So game.
Okay, let's do it.
You want to do it? You want to do it?
Yeah,
all right.
Let's do it then.
Super bonus feature. Let's do it. All right.
Since you brought it up,
we don't even need to take a break. We've got the clone game. It's in the English game room. Why don't you join up?
All right.
Yeah, and I'm gonna change this demo board. Boop, 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 boop. It's this one. There you
Oh.
are. Oh my gosh, what is it? This is the hammer-headed ghost.
Yeah.
The stone
that's what it's
tower.
called?
I don't know. That's what we called it in New York. I've also heard it called the stone tower, the two stone edge squeeze, the tombstone. I don't know. What do you call it? What's the name?
I don't know what it's called actually.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't remember.
All right.
I know the Chinese name for it, but I don't really know
What it's called? Okay. All right.
Anyway, we see a pretty simple opening, right? So we see some josekis here and there, and so so here, black cuts, and oh, bam, the honey.
Yikes! It looks thin. It looks like
Yeah,
I
it
should
does.
push and cut and
It
get away with
It does
it.
look thin. So
But oh no.
I think the critical thing here is White made this Atari first. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it's such a, maybe I shouldn't say it like this, but it's such an amateur mistake to do this. Like,
You know, he's probably planning out his victory celebration after he's gone through the round of 16 and the round of 8, and then, you know, takes on Kojie and beats him. I think, you know, he's getting ahead.
But yeah, I mean, like this is not a good shape to be in, or a good thing to be in any position. But like,
if he hasn't played the Atari, does he have a chance here?
Even if he hadn't played the Atari, it's still.
Oh, you gotta crawl. Oh no.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's. Oh man. Okay, I'll just do
crunch.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're still dead. Nope. Wait. No. Okay. Yeah.
Even I don't know. Like no matter what, it's still it's pretty much game over.
Oh, you gotta go back and count the bottoms.
That's right. If White chooses to, I think it's dead though.
So the two stone edge squeeze. Know it. Love it. Question from the audience: could White cut at E12? I assume this is a little farther along.
Could White cut at
E12?
E12.
Must be a little before crawling out like that.
Oh, sorry.
Right here.
Okay.
This.
Oh, that wouldn't have enough liberties because Black still has
the race.
Yeah. If you mean like after, then yeah, I'm not sure what.
He'd have to crawl a couple times before he could cut, I think.
Yeah,
it would be.
And after crawling, Black's already really thick, so
right,
it wouldn't make a difference. So White made this Atari. So I think he thought that he could connect back.
Oh, but it's connect underneath.
Yeah, I think he thought that he could connect underneath, but it's
no good.
But it's a simple Atari.
Wah. Aw. But that's okay. You know, I hear he had a class that he had to teach that afternoon, so it actually worked out okay for him. So, yeah. All right, Ryan. Thank you so much for doing the bonus.
It's always sad to see these things, though.
But you know, these basic shapes—they're great learning experiences for us amateurs. So, perfect. It's a great note to end on. Thank you so much for your help this evening. It's great to have you. Looking forward to doing this with you again in a couple weeks. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Facebook, you know how it all works. And we'll see you soon. So thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.